Reanimal is a brand new IP developed by the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2. This co-op horror adventure game sees you playing as a brother and sister who go through literal hell to rescue their missing friends. But should you come along for the ride? Let's find out.
You were dead.
Hey there everybody, my name is Warwick and welcome to Warwick Reviews with a review of Reanimal. This is a new upcoming horror adventure video game which has been developed by Tazia Studios and published by THQ Nordic. And before we go any further, I do want to say a big shout out to them for the review code. I really appreciate that. And yeah, this is my review. So what we're going to be doing, if this is your first time, is just go through the basics of the game, what it's all about, if it's something you should check out, and my thoughts and personal feelings of the game. But before we do all of that, I want to say hello. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time here, where the heck have you been? Don't worry about it, it's fine. Thankfully, you have a lot of reviews that you can catch up on. If you're returning, thank you much for returning, I appreciate that. But again, my name is Warwick and I do a lot of reviews and previews and sort of unboxings and all sorts on this channel. But you also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Warwick, and the various socials where you may be. Like I said, this is Reanimal, so let's begin. This is from Tazia Studios, which you may know because they're most well known for the Little Nightmares series. So they worked on the first two games and then they've moved on to work on a brand new IP called Reanimal with a similar sort of look. Like you will look at this and you will get similarities with that. But the team has stressed that this is very different and this is its own unique IP, and generally interesting to see what they do. Like, is this sort of the reimagining of what they really wanted to do with an IP like that sort of, I guess, there's like a genre like co-op survival horror top down or something. But yeah, I'm interested to see what it's all about and really interested, like seeing previews and stuff, and it seems really cool and really nice to sort of see the team back after almost 5 years since their last game. Anyway, let's go crack on and see what it's all about. So you've got single player, co-op. What is great about this is it is a big emphasis on co-op. You can play single player. Co-op is recommended and you can even do local, host online or join online. And what's even great is this is sort of been spearheaded by games like Split Fiction, It Takes Two, where not only is this fully cross-platform, so if a friend has it on Switch 2 and you have a PC or Xbox or PlayStation or Epic or wherever you got this game, you can play it online, but only one of you needs to have the game, which is fantastic. So rather than having both people have to have the game, only one needs to have the game, and then the other one can have a friend pass. I have no friends at the moment. Well, I've already stressed this is currently playing before the game comes out, so technically no one should be online playing this game. So we'll go in single player. So new game, load game, save slots, and we'll begin. As you see, we start off in this boat, don't know who we are, what we're doing, got a bag over our head, and we're in the water trying to navigate our way to some sort of safety. So we're following the lights, and this is where the tutorial happens. So sort of control, sort of moving around, sort of using the camera, and then as that happens, a bit more story happens. We find someone in the water. I believe it's our sibling, who we thought was dead, no longer are dead, or maybe they are, who knows with these things. And then we carry on traversing, and then we get to a shore, and this is where we sort of learn a bit more about mechanics. So we've got sort of like jump in, speed, pick up, interact and stuff. Very basic stuff, but things that helps you know what you're in for basically. And also a nice little quick puzzle game where we had to search one of the suitcases to find a key, and which one it has it in, then we can progress. And so slowly building up the story. Cool thing with this game is a emphasis on puzzles and co-op puzzles specifically. So as I've mentioned, you play with basically two characters. So if you're playing single player, you have the AO companion. Play two player, you have your second player with you. And there are various puzzles throughout the game where it uses both of your characters to go through and progress. So for one example that we're showing here now, there's a puzzle here that one of the characters or one of you needs to hold on to sort of the switch to basically stop this pipe spinning. Once you stop it correctly, then the other character or yourself can go through and get to the other side to progress. There's various different puzzles like this out there. It's about using sort of your wits and sort of figuring out what to do and where you need to position yourself, but nice sort of things. Sort of say if you ever get to a point where I don't know where to progress, that's almost always going to be the option where you need to utilize your companion. So another cool thing about the game is throughout it, you can collect items or art. So we've just collected something called concept art. So we can go back to the main menu, go gallery, and there you go. We can actually look at concept art. So this is what we collected, which is really nice, really, really cool to see the art and the sort of concepts behind it. And so far we've got 1 of 1. I'm sure there can be more than just one, but yeah, really cool. So you can always go back to the main menu, have a look. Another thing, collectibles in this game is called masks. So we've got masks here, which you just picked up. So go to masks. So there we go. So we have like this, I don't know what it is actually, but got this on. So we collected this one for the boy, which we've got just there. What's cool is you can actually pick and choose who gets what. So it's not just tailored to one or the other. For example, I can take both masks off and be like, okay, I want the boy to have the lamb and the girl will have the sack. And there we go. Chop and change as you please. And you collect these throughout the game. Some are through pre-orders. So the bottom 2 are pre-orders. But you can collect a lot throughout the game and customize. And then if you don't want them, you can take them off as well as a default. So we just had our first proper death, unless I left a footage in from earlier where I just jumped off and died. But anyway, this is the first proper death. So yeah, so welcome to Reanimal. We have this little cog wheel thing that we need, and it looks like we are going to be chased by these creatures. So thankfully there are checkpoints throughout the game. Doesn't seem to be too far between each other. So even if you die, you go to the previous checkpoint, which is here. Thankfully not too far. And now we just have to run and not get caught, because these things are a little bit slimy. Nicely done. Oh my goodness me. Goodness me. They're all coming out. They're all coming out. Thank you. Right, we're out. We're out. Close the door. Thank you. Right, and there we go. Easy peasy. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, so there will be sort of interactions with various creatures and beasts throughout the game, with sort of beasts like that chasing you and making sure that you are keeping yourself as far away as possible. So with sort of every game that I check out, I always like to check out the settings, because just why not? We're doing a review. So we've got settings here. So we go settings, and we've got some settings. So we've got gameplay, audio, and video. So we've got gameplay. So with gameplay, we've got a few options here. So we've got language, voiceover language, subtitles, vibration, invert camera, cosplay, telemetry. Language, quite a few languages, so quite a few here, which is quite nice. Always nice to see a lot of options, a lot of accessibility. And with voice over language, so with some of the voices you hear, actually quite a few. So you've got English, French, German, Spanish, Latin American, Russian, Polish, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, Japanese. So you normally see quite a lot of sort of text-based languages like in games, but you don't see quite a lot of options with voiceover. So really good to see. Subtitles, vibrations, etc. All various basic stuff. We've got controls here. So it does recommend playing with controller. So I am using a controller for this playthrough, but this is the sort of layout. You can't change any of the buttons or anything around, unfortunately, with the controls. You can with a keyboard. So if you go to keyboard and mouse and go back to controls, there's all the controls here, and you can toggle these to how you want. So you can click on one, press key to rebind, and you can rebind it to whatever you want, and then either reset to default. So that's nice. I wish there was more options for controls, because while I'm sure this will be fine as a standard sort of layout for any sort of controller based game, if you especially play similar games to this, being able just to keybind, or you have just different options to go, okay, maybe I want to use my D-pad, for example, for movement, or sneak to be a different button or something. And I just like to have the option, especially if keyboard and mouse has those options to keybind. It'd be nice to have it for controller as well. But that is our gameplay. So then audio. So audio, you've got master volume music, SFX dialogue, and audio mix. Again, basic stuff. You think anywhere. So I will say it does start at 70% and the volume seems quite decent at 70%. So it's nice that there's a leeway to go higher or lower if you want to. A lot of games always seem to start at 100 and there's no leeway anything higher. So it's nice to have sort of a bit of leeway if you want a bit higher or a bit lower. And then you've got different speakers or headphones. And then last but not least, video, standard stuff. Got that there. So we've got display mode, frame rate, VSync, upscale method, and upscale quality. And then you've got advanced video settings. So if you want to change things advanced, like bloom and depth of field, you got them there. Brightness, which you can adjust here as well if you want to. So we set it to default for now. But that is it of our settings. So not a huge amount. Not really a lot of accessibility options and stuff. There's subtitles, which is good, but there's no option to change the size of them or have different colors or colorblind. Yeah, not a lot of options in the settings. There's some there, but I think room to improve. And yeah, that's basically the game. So you're playing these characters. Choose one of the other if you're playing co-op. Single player, you play sort of the boy. I think it's self-titled boy. And you're going through puzzles while trying to get captured by these hideous and hellish beasts and creatures. And while trying to, find your friends and survive. And yeah, I had a fantastic time. I really, really liked it. I had a really good time. I played this a lot longer than I should have done for the review. So you might not see a lot of content or a lot of footage, but trust me, I played a lot longer than I probably needed to. And because it was such a fun game, I really, really enjoyed it. It looks great. The style of it is fantastic. You know, it has that macabre sort of dystopian world outside of a world. Things seem like our world in certain aspects, but also really not. And that sort of eerie look and feel to it. And you got this really cool, almost like tilt shift sort of look to it. And what I mean by that is everything sort of shot in a way that looks like it's like miniatures or like toy figurines, and it doesn't look real, but also is like sort of real as well. It's a really cool effect. You've probably seen it in a few games or movies. One of the ones that comes to me straight away is Social Network. During the boat race, when they filmed that was tilt shift. And look up tilt shift. Some really, really cool stuff there. And yeah, just had a great time. Like, again, like it feels great. It looks great. It handles really well. I'm playing on PC. It's also on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch too. Playing with controller. And the controls are easy to pick up. It's quite, I would say, there's not a lot of hand holding. You do need to be able to explore. So there's no sort of yellow paint or any big arrows going, hey, here. There might be some places that look obvious, but this game encourages you to explore, because when you do explore, not only do you find where you need to go, you also find goodies, so with like the art and masks as well. So it does encourage you to sort of explore the world as you go through. And with the enemies, it felt really tense. Like there's a few times, there's one instant where I failed a few times trying to figure out what to do. So it can be a trial and error. Thankfully with the checkpoints, they are really generous, so you aren't going to go too far back. Normally, if it's like a chase or like a sort of monster scene, if you fail that, you go to the beginning of it or just before it starts. So you're not going to have to go all the way back. With that, I do worry with similarities with their previous franchise, which is Little Nightmares. I know the team doesn't want to sort of be compared to that, but I mean, you can't knock your biggest franchise to date, Little Nightmares 1 and 2, what you're known for, and then you do a game called Reanimal in a very similar setting, look, and feel. There will be comparisons, and with that, this might seem a bit samey. Now, I had a really good time. I love Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and I love Reanimal. I really enjoyed this game. This does feel like Little Nightmares. There seems to be a bit more of a horror aspect to this, which is good, but overall, it does feel like almost like a spiritual successor to it. And if that's a good thing or bad thing, that is up to you. If you're looking for something really different, then you may not get that here. If it was called Little Nightmares, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. And again, I know the devs and team said they don't want to be compared to it, but their comparisons will be there. I think I wouldn't be doing a service if I didn't even mention it. It'd be feel like really odd to not have even mentioned the comparisons. So really, from your point of view, watcher, hello, thanks for still watching, by the way, I appreciate it. It very much depends. If you like the Little Nightmares series, I think you would love this. If you just want more of the same, I think you really love this. If you really like Little Nightmares but looking for something a bit different, I would still say give it a try, because I do feel like there's some things that they do slightly differently. I do feel like there's a bit more of a horror aspect, and I did feel more intense at times than maybe Little Nightmares. But if you're coming in wanting sort of not similarity but something a bit different, you may not get that here. I would still recommend getting it. I think it's really, really cool. There is talks that potentially there's DLC, so if you like the story, there'll be more story. And I'm intrigued by what's going on and stuff, which is really, really cool. And again, like I said, it handles really well. It's basically on platforms. It's cross-platform, so you can play it with a friend as well, which I think is a big, big plus. Two-player co-op horror game. You don't get a lot of those, unfortunately. It's not as many as you may think. And that should be celebrated. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to play more. I probably will play some more on stream, but I would say give it a go. Give it a go. There is a demo and there is options to be able to sort of check it out before you sort of buy and stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Warwick and I don't just do reviews here, although I do many, including this one and many more. You see all the buttons and the things. You can click them all. Click them all. Also, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. Thank you very much. And also, you may see me streaming on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Warwick, and on various socials where you may be. But thank you to the team for the review code. I appreciate that. And thank you for watching. I'm Warwick. Please take care. Bye-bye.